Hi everyone, welcome to the first devlog of my new mobile game. You're probably thinking there are first devlogs on this channel and doesn't have any last devlog. Why is that? Let me explain. This happens to almost everyone who starts their indie game dev journey and which is normal. So about a year ago in October 21, I posted a video of character creation devlog in which I announced that I'll be working on a game, on a new project which was my dream game. I was so invested in story and lore that I forgot it's getting bigger and bigger. As soon as I started the development, I started facing issues with the code and optimization and errors which was nearly impossible to resolve, at least for me. If you go to my itch.io page, you'll find a couple of games that I made which was not really completed. But just a prototype levels. I had a lot to learn if I wanted to create my dream game. So that's why I decided to make a small scale mobile game which is at least fully completed. And that way I'll learn a lot and will have experience building mobile games, and as well I'll be able to resolve the future issues. The first thing I wanted to have is my own small scale mobile game with different kind of mechanics, touch controls and uniqueness, as well as it would be fun to play. So I started exploring different kind of genres and came across the AR and VR. I also had an experience working on AR app for my office, which was just scanning the image and placing object on that image. The real deal was making a game using the AR technology. I won't go much further into this topic because I've already have a couple of devlogs on AR game. The reason I scrapped the idea was because the market size as well as the device hitting issues and the hardware issues. I worked around 2 months on this idea and I won't say it was a waste of time. I learned quite a few things. For example, code optimization. From past couple of years, I've been a big fan of Skyforce games created by Infinity Dream Studios, and I play it a lot when I'm free. So basically I thought, why don't I just imitate the game and create on my own. I wanted something unique, not just copying anybody's game as it is. So then I came across the game called Data Wing, and hell yeah, the concept is so good. So in that game, your job is to transfer data from one point to another within the network and with the least amount of time, and that's it. And it's still a lot of fun to play. So I decided to mix these things up together, and there was one thing that was left to add: a story. I love animated movies and they kind of inspired me to create. And while thinking about my game idea, something came in my mind. One of my favorite movie, Wreck-It Ralph. If you know the movie, then you'll probably get the idea where it's all going. So I decided to mix these things up together. I won't go in depth of the story and spoil the story for you, just to tell you that in my game your job will be an anti-malware agent, and that's it. I'm not telling you more than that, at least not for now. So let's just start with the development. The first thing I did was to get the touch controllers working. I wanted the agent to follow my finger on the screen as I touch the screen. What I decided to do is whenever I touch the screen, the ray is emitted from the touch position towards the forward direction of the camera. And whenever the ray hits the ground, I registered the hit position into a variable couple of times per second. And then the player moves towards the hit position with smooth transition and offsetting y-axis to keep it above the surface. This worked, but the problem I was facing was whenever I reached the edge of the skin, the agent was disappearing, which was due to the huge distance between the ground and agent. To fix that, I decided to create an invisible plane above the agent and hit the ray on that plane to keep almost same Y position as the agent, with just a little bit of offset on Y, and that worked. After that, I just added a new script to the main camera to make it follow the player sideways with limits. I created a simple bullet graphic for player projectile in Photoshop. I wanted the player to shoot a bunch of projectiles, spreading them as they go forward. So I created 4 projectile emitters transform with slightly rotations. This way their direction will vary and will feel like bullets are spreading. For main menu screen, I wanted something different, not just the usual UI. If you have watched Wreck-It Ralph 2, you might have seen this scene with the interior of the Wi-Fi router. The Ralph and Vanellope travels to the internet through the fiber cable, and that's what concept I was looking for. So I modeled the interior of the Wi-Fi router from which our data force agent will travel. Textured it. So the concept is whenever you press the start button, the anti-malware will begin the network scan. It will release the agent through the internet cable, which will help to quarantine or eliminate the malwares. I'll be focusing on just building and completing the first level only, in which the enemy will be an adware, and there are cool things planned like showing misleading ads as well as valid ads in playtime. I mean, not actual advertisements, just ads that are part of the gameplay. As it was the internet and network thing, I wanted a custom shaders and animate them. So I created these shader graphs. At this point I was using URP shader so that I could create custom shaders, but that changed pretty soon. For now it worked well. When I pressed the start button, the fiber connection was activated and the agent was ready to take off. With these shaders, I also created these energy spheres, which damages the player when entered inside. They also will work for enemy malwares as an energy shield. For collectibles, I created this diamond shaped graphic. It represents as bit as a collectible. As player kills enemy malwares, they will produce couple of bits when they die, and player agent can collect these bits and store it into inventory. These bits can be used to install upgrades to the agent, like upgrading health and projectiles. So that's it. Collectible bits were working the way I wanted. So that's it for this devlog. The game is much further into development. I just didn't have time to include everything is there in this devlog. And also I'll share the playable game within February, even if it's just one level. So hit the like button and comment down below if you think anything in the devlog could have done differently with a more better approach. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and we'll see you in the next one.